Welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson. Joined as always by fellow host Johnny Paulus. Johnny, welcome in. How are you doing, sir?
I'm chilling, man. How are you? Nice 3-day weekend. Always nice.
Yeah, mine, because the nature of my work wasn't technically supposed to be a 3-day weekend, but it kind of just turned out to be one. I had a Zoom call scheduled that somebody else scheduled. And so I joined at like 1:30 and I gave him 15 minutes. I'm like, no one else is joining.
We'll take the hint.
I guess they didn't realize they scheduled this on Labor Day.
Probably exactly what happened. Yep.
And so that was that. But well, very good. Anything interesting going on with you this past week? Or I feel like I haven't seen much of the elusive JP in a minute.
Yeah, man. I've been good. I had a couple gigs. I had a gig Friday and a gig Saturday. Friday one was at that place in Baltimore, Shoddy's, Charm City. Shoddy's Point. I'm sorry. Shoddy's Point, Charm City is the full name. So I played there Friday, and then I did Poorhouse Saturday. And both were good, and I didn't blow my voice out. So, hey, that's good. We're back to the normal, not blowing my voice out in a gig, which is nice. But no, I've just been enjoying the weekend with the boys. I fired up the smoker yesterday and did 2 whole racks of ribs and a brisket. And yeah, I love my smoker. It's so much fun.
So Thursday this past week, the band that I've kind of been fiddling around with had a show not far from you. Now, I didn't tell anybody about this show because it's first time playing out with them. Right. I kind of got the vibe that they wanted to keep it low pressure, so I told no one. But it was at a place very close by to you. It was at the Mana Dispensary. That's right. We played a show on Thursday at the Mana Weed Dispensary.
You fucker. It's 2 minutes from my house.
Well, before you get your panties in a bunch, okay?
Okay.
I've got a fun proposition for you.
Okay.
So we play this thing. It was actually pretty cool. And a lot of people that were visiting the store hung out because they had like a bunch of free pizza from Domino's set out and drinks and stuff. And, you know, the weather was nice. It wasn't too hot. We're playing music for a couple hours. End of the night rolls around, and I knew this was coming in the back of my mind, but then it happened, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. How do you think they paid us, Johnny?
A big fat bag of goodies.
No, more specifically, they handed each of us a quarter of dank. Dankety dank. Like, blow your mind. Who the fuck am I, dank?
Awesome.
And I mean, you know me. I partake, but when it comes to bud, I mean, that will take me forever to go through.
Yep, same.
Well, here's the interesting news, Johnny. I'm there again this Thursday.
Okay.
And I'm there again next Thursday.
Okay.
And on both occasions, they're going to pay me the exact same way.
Okay.
So I can't possibly have a need for all this dank.
That's a lot, yeah.
So I propose that either after this Thursday or next, I'm just going to give you one of them.
I'm not going to fight you on that one.
Because there's no way. I mean, it's just not possible. Now, the guys in my band, I believe that they went through everything that they got last week. Is there like,
bro, there's no way. There's no way.
Well, you and I just don't have the tolerance.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? Like it's at night when my next important thing to do for the day is to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
That's when it happens. Like when I'm done recording the show, that's what's going to happen. But like middle of the day or like,
no,
I can't.
I've never been able to like wake and bake or like do it and go do something. There's no shot.
I'm too old, man.
It's couch behavior. That's it.
I'm too old.
Couch or bed, okay. Anything other than that,
Yeah, maybe we hang out and watch something, and you take your tub of greenery from me.
Yeah, no, I will gladly accept that gift. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good play. We've got some other things coming up. We talk about music a lot on this show because we're musicians. So I've got a big Sunday ahead of me. The changing of the seasons reintroduces the church that I do music at, doing 2 services. So I will be playing 2 services on Sunday. But what's interesting with that is a lot of times they need my help with electric bass guitar. But this Sunday I will be playing classical upright, which it's, I've been through the music all this week, and it's like riding a bike. It was a little hairy for the first 30 minutes playing an upright bass with a bow for the first time in 15 years. But after about an hour, just gliding through like I haven't lost a step. So
awesome.
That's going to be cool. And then further out, a big cover band that my brother's in, they're having an absentee bassist. So I've had, the 4 hours of cover music to learn for them. And I'm trying to not need a tablet and have it all committed to memory. And I'm like halfway there. So yeah, I've just been living with instruments in my hand and sheet music all over my desk. That's been my life lately, which I gotta say is actually fine.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Good with that. Yeah, so that's me. I guess that's me, and that's Johnny. Johnny had brisket.
I did.
And played the poorhouse for like the 10 millionth time.
Pretty much.
And I'm just up to my eyeballs in music stuff, which I'm pretty excited about. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Enough about that. You're here to hear about video games. And it happens to be episode 131 of the Power Gamer podcast. Look, genuinely thank you. Apparently, my cries to you freeloading scallywags has not fallen on deaf ears. I've noticed a ton of 5-star reviews on Spotify, which I can't tell you how much that helps out podcasts. So please, if you're listening on a streaming platform like Spotify or Apple or whatever, if you take a moment and leave the review, you don't even have to fucking write anything in it. Just it puts it in front of more people. So it genuinely helps us out. And likewise over on YouTube. I mean, for us being a small show, we seem to have decent numbers week in, week out. So beautiful. Thanks again to all of you listening on YouTube. It feels nice from where we started. I mean, I know we're still technically in our early phases here, but going from being excited about 10 people listening to the show to just it being, 10 times that, and sometimes well above that number, but that kind of just being the new standard is pretty cool. So thanks everyone. And if you haven't done your part, please, the show is fucking free. There's no ads.
Yep.
Just
give that little bit of support there.
Give a little clicky click. With that being said, again, welcome in. It's episode 131 of the Power Gamer podcast. We're going to start off this week's episode, as we always do, by first discussing the games we've been playing this week. Johnny, I'll get mine out of the way first because my list is a little short. Armored Core 6. I'm roughly 55% of the way through the game, and I don't have much new to say about it. It's fantastic. I probably would have had already beaten it by now if it weren't for all the aforementioned distractions I have going on in my life. But I am going to try and sit down and clear it out before, Starfield comes out to the masses. So enjoying my time with Armored Core 6. Loving the boss encounters. The game just feels really fluid, great frame rate, really fun. It does have me thinking a little bit about those higher end PlayStation DualSense controllers, the ones that have the back paddles on the back, because this is a perfect game for that. Like if
Yeah.
you had those back buttons, it feels fine without them, but it is a little tough. You know, you're right. Your triggers and bumpers correspond to those weapons on either side of the body. So you have the two shoulder buttons for the guns that are mounted on your shoulders, and then the two triggers for the guns that are in your hand. So the only thing that makes it a little bit tricky is when you want to use your thrusters to go up vertically, you do have to take your hand off the right camera control stick by not having back buttons. So yeah, I mean, this would be a perfect game for somebody looking to use a controller like that. So just something that popped in mind. I was definitely thinking about it while I was playing the game, but I don't feel like I need it kind of
Right.
thing. I just feel like it would be nice, so to speak. But very much loving Armored Core 6. People, don't be intimidated by this game. Don't be intimidated by this game. Yes, it's from software. Yes, there's death, but boy, oh boy, is it fair and gives you just infinite chances to figure out whatever's going on. Maybe the only advice I would say is don't feel like if anybody ever asks you while you're playing Armored Core 6, what's your build? You know that person knows nothing about Armored Core 6. Because there is no having quote unquote a build. You constantly need to be changing your layout to deal with the levels, and that's what makes the game cool. And it's not complicated, but don't feel like you have to box yourself in a corner. You know what I mean?
Right.
And don't be saving all your credits. Buy the different guns they come and show you. You know what I mean? So that's maybe the best advice I can give to somebody with the game. Other than that, I've just been playing Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah, baby.
So I brought this game up after me and Mandy finished. I think it was after we finished Evil West. Was it Evil West? I think it was after we finished Evil West.
Sounds right.
And I said, hey, I think this game is right up your alley, because she likes, the CRPG style games. I said, Johnny's been busting my balls for years to play this game. My current save is completely fucked, and I have no idea what's going on. Maybe you buy this and we give it a go. And so she did, and she's brought along someone from her part of the world who is basically a Sherpa.
Awesome.
So between the two of them, we have a fighter tank, and then she's a the healing class, the cleric tank.
Yep.
And I am a straight fire wizard, just all pyro.
Hell yeah.
And we're just fucking face rolling through the game right now, and it feels much better. And I feel like there's actually hope that I might finish this game for once. So just about done with what Fort Joy's chapter 1, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So at the tail end of chapter 1, heading into chapter 2, where you go off to the island, is where we left off after our first play session. And we got to that point in just 3 hours.
Wow.
So we are face rolling this game.
The Sherpa, has he already played this game? Does he already know the ropes?
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, it's like up to this point, it's like I already know where everything is.
Right.
So no, so having a much better time with it this go around. So maybe we'll finish it. I figured, I'm not going to get to Baldur's Gate 3 anytime soon. Right. When I do get to it, I'm going to probably check it out on PS5. This makes for a great time to have that be the co-op game that I'm working on. So Divinity Original Sin 2 still alive and well.
Nice. Great.
Johnny, that wraps up what I've been playing this week. Let's pass it off to you, sir.
Well, I finally got my hands on one of my most anticipated games of the year. Sea of Stars is out. It is out on Game Pass. I believe it is also out on PlayStation Plus Premium.
Extra. Yeah.
Okay. PlayStation Plus Extra.
The second tier, basically.
Right. So not the top of the line one, the medium tier.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the game that is a big love letter to this Super Nintendo era of JRPGs. If you're a big fan of like the Chrono Trigger era, this game has the same composer. What's his name, Mike?
Oh Christ, you put me on the spot.
Sorry, I've had you pull it up out of the air before, so that's my bad. You can Google it and I'll keep talking.
Matsune.
So one of the things.
Sorry, I was close. Mitsuda.
Okay. So one of the things that's interesting about the combat and the progression in this game is kind of one of my only gripes with the game. It's very, 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 very simple. It's very dumbed down. And it's possible that it's like that because I'm only 4 or 5 hours in. But like, you know, at this far in Chained Echoes, which I would say is the most similar game that I've played to this, by that point in Chained Echoes, I had buffs, I had debuffs, I had dots, I had hots, I had all this shit. And in this game, it's literally like attack to get magic points. And then once you have those magic points, all 3 of the people on my team have basically 2 spells. And that is it. It doesn't really get much more complicated than that. There are a lot of timed reaction button quick actions that similar, you know what that kind of reminds me of is like Super Mario RPG, where if you press A right when the hit lands, it's going to do more damage. If you press A right when they're going to hit you, you block and you take less damage. But there are also spells that take advantage of that. So like you hold for a certain amount and then the fireball sort of pulses. And if you let go right at that spot, it does more damage. So there's a big reward for getting the timing of these things right. And now that I'm getting the timing down on those things, I'm starting to really kind of get more comfortable with the game. But I will say so far, the vibe, the music, the graphics, the story, everything other than the combat, I'm really, really happy with. Right now, the combat is a little too samey. There's not really a lot going on combat-wise yet. That's my only gripe. It's a minor gripe, but everything else about the game, if you are a big fan of old school JRPGs, this is definitely one that I would strongly recommend checking out. Again, I'm only 4 or 5 hours in, but so far I'm pretty impressed. I'm going to be playing this all the way through, I think.
The music in it's just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And I love that
it's so good.
There was a choice made to basically use something that sounds as constrained as the original SNES sound module for all the music in the game. That's really cool. It's for us old farts that like the old games for sure. But
it is. It is.
You know what's interesting?
A total love letter to that era.
You know what's interesting with Sea of Stars, more so than the game itself, even, is how they have managed to do what they did. Because the game, day one on Game Pass, so cha-ching, they got that check. Day one on PlayStation Plus, cha-ching, they got that check. And they're selling it on the Nintendo Switch. Name another game that's happened with.
And Steam.
Yeah, name another game that's happened with.
I can't think of one that's been on both services day one plus Switch. Yeah, no, it's everywhere. They did it.
These guys have gamed the fuck out of the system. I don't know how they pulled it off, frankly. Because, it's not that everyone wouldn't want to do that. It's that usually somebody sticks their hand up and says, "Yeah, no,
Right.
no, no, no. If you're getting your check from us here at Game Pass, you're not putting this thing on PlayStation." Look at Stray. Stray finally came to Xbox, but it's been well over a year.
Yeah, same thing with the Medium. The Medium was on
Xbox
Game Pass first, and then now is PlayStation.
Other way, yep. So they pulled off something.
Yeah,
I don't know how they did it.
I never even thought of that, but you're right.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, we don't see games launch on both subscription services plus
they're
Switch.
getting checks from fucking everyone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's nuts.
Yep.
So good for them.
But no, I mean, if you dig the old school 16-bit SNES era of JRPGs, this is an obvious pickup. If you don't pay for either of those subscription services, the game's only $35. And so far I'm really enjoying it a lot. I think I'm going to see this one through to the end.
I did have one question for you, given that you've already been playing the game.
Yep.
So, Chrono Trigger, of course, is like one of my holy grail games ever. And,
yes.
One of the things I always liked in Chrono Trigger is in the combat system, right? So you bump into an enemy and combat ensues. It gives you an option in the game to be turn-based. So like what I was watching you play last night on Twitch, we're like, okay, it's traditional turn-based. You see a little counter on each enemy letting you know when their turn's going to be, etc.
Yep.
So Chrono Trigger gives you a choice of playing that way or playing their intended way, which is in real time, and there's real-time timers ticking down on each enemy and each one of your characters. So did Sea of Stars have that as an option, or is it just only turn-based, like true turn-based?
I don't know. The only thing I can say is that I've like literally right before I closed the game down, I found a shop where I bought these items. And then when I went into the menu to figure out what those things were, they're all switchable variables, and some of them change the difficulty up, some of them change the difficulty down. And when I got them, it made clear that there are many, many more of them to heavily alter the play style of the game. Is it possible that there's one of those in the game that's going to give you that? Maybe. But I have not seen that yet. No.
And then second question is, because you didn't play it for super long. That's really all I've looked at the game of. At least in the missions, there were save points and things like that, which reminds me a little bit of Chrono Trigger. But like, is there a world map that ties everything together where you can save any time, or is it just those save points?
When you're on the world map, you can create a camp and save whenever.
Okay, so it's just like Chrono in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So no, there is a world map where when you finish that zone, your character's this big on the screen.
Yeah.
A la like the old Final Fantasy games.
I was about to say that system dates back to Final Fantasy 1.
Yep, and that's exactly what I think of when I see that type of shit as Final Fantasy 1. So yeah, no, that's there, and you can create camp when you're in the world map, and yeah, the game's dope. Check it out. Also, a game that I scooped up and hadn't touched yet, I've now played for maybe an hour or two. I don't have a final opinion on yet. Fort Solis. I picked this game up because Troy Baker doing voice work on it, and it was pretty cheap on Steam. I think it was 20-some bucks, and I thought the graphics looked really good, and I like sci-fi games, so I wanted to check it out. This is basically a Mars walking simulator. So this is one of those games that it has a story it's going to tell. The actions that you take throughout your experiencing of the story are probably not going to alter the trajectory in any meaningful way. The game is going to tell you the story that it's going to tell you, and you're going to kind of go from point A to point B, and put the red key into the red door to get to the next point D. And it's very much going to be a sort of 1 + 1 = 2, sort of just going through the motions of the story. I've gleaned as much from the reviews and such, but in my experience now, only about maybe an hour or two in, I can definitively say so far this game's kind of boring. Your character moves very slowly, incredibly slowly. Like you're playing Dead Space, but your thumbstick's broken and it can't go all the way forward. It can only go half forward. That's how slow the character is. Um, Everything I do, I feel like I'm limping. Anytime I feel like, well, shit, I got to go back to that door now, and then it's like you're walking so slow, it's painful, and it's like I don't know about you, Mike, but with my impatience in games where the character moves so slow, even if I've gone to the settings of the game and have looked at the button layout and have already personally verified there is no run or sprint, I will still try to push down on the thumbsticks. I will still try to tap the A button. I will still try the bumpers. It does not matter. If I'm playing a game and the character moves that fucking slow, my fingers are going, come on, like, give me something. And, but I mean, I will say, look, I'm not going to totally shit on the game. I'm so early on in, I really don't have any kind of opinion on it. I will say the presentation is very good. Graphically, it's actually a really pretty game. They've set the mood pretty well. I'm digging all of that. So far, the voice acting is really good. There's a lot of good, but so far what I've played of the game is kind of just boring. Nothing major. Again, I bought the game for $20. If it's a boring one, it's a short one, I'll probably knock it out this week and give you guys a final score on it, hopefully next week.
Yeah, a lot of the sentiments you are sharing are those held in some of the reviews I've read on the game.
Yeah.
I remember one headline for it being what was it? Here it is. How pacing killed a game.
Yeah.
So have fun with that.
Well, yeah, I'm right in the beginning and I'm already like, okay, this is
Fort Solis is a thriller with no thrills.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It's not doing well. Like the only positive thing I see pretty unanimously is that the voice acting's good, but that the game itself is there's some people out there that are going to sit down with a game like Fort Solis and be like, this is the greatest game I've ever played in my life. But for most of us, you're going to play this game and be bored to fucking death. So
well, I mean, we'll see if it is that fucking boring. Maybe I won't get through it. But I mean, I don't know. I'm digging the vibes. The graphics are really good. I dig sci-fi. If they can give me a hook on a story, which so far there is just got a distress signal, went to this other base camp on Mars, and haven't seen anybody yet, and that's kind of where I'm at. So it's like there's no signs of foul play yet. There's no dead body. There's no blood. Nothing scary. It's just nobody's fucking there, and they should be.
Yeah, I think when you're done with this game, you're going to come back and say it was fine.
I think that's probably going to be my takeaway. I mean, at this point, I've already bought it. It's 5 hours long. I might as well just fucking sit down and play it. So yeah. So I mean, so far I'm not blown away. Yeah, but you know,
apparently it only takes 4 hours to beat. So fucking.
That's what I'm saying. It's a 4 or 5 hour game. So I'm just gonna knock it out. Also, speaking of games that can be knocked out in 4 or 5 hours, I'm also still working on Quake 2.
How are you not done with Quake 2 yet?
I think I'm 3/4 of the way through the main campaign. I got frustrated with a level where I kept dying at the same spot, and you know, it's like fucking start the level over again type shit. So I was getting a little frustrated with that. So I was like, you know what? I've never played Quake 2 64, like ever, not once. So I went to level select, and so in the Quake 2, since they did the update, there's now, when you go to level select and you select what episode you want, you have the original Quake 2 campaign. You have the 2 DLCs for Quake 2 that were out way back when. You have the whole new episode designed by Machine Gun Games that just came out, whatever, like 2-3 weeks ago. And you also have Quake 2 64. And all of them are the complete campaign. So I love Quake. I couldn't decide what the fuck else I felt like playing, so I fired up and I played Quake for like 2-3 hours today, and it's awesome. And I played some of Quake 2 64 as well, so I'm still very happy with my free upgrade to Quake 2. I've also gone online and gotten some online frags with it as well. Anybody that hasn't fucked with Quake 2 since the big update, just fire it up, man. It's pretty cool. It all just works. Everything works really well. And lastly, this one is a completely out of nowhere. I literally was sitting at my computer looking at my list of games on Steam and went, I totally forgot I had that game. Let's play that. And I played The Typing of the Dead Overkill for like 2 hours today.
That's a great game.
And dude, the dialogue in this game is so cringy terrible, but it's intentionally bad, and it's so fucking bad. It's like it is every time these characters interact with each other, I'm laughing my ass off. It's so bad. But it's literally, if anybody is familiar with the House of the Dead series, where the arcade machine where you're shooting at zombies with a gun, and it's one of the old school like shoot off the screen to reload and then continue to shoot. Well, The Typing of the Dead is that game, except every one of the zombies that's coming at you has a word or a phrase or a sentence in front of them, and you have to type it on the keyboard in order to kill them. And these phrases are very random, and there are I think they call them dictionaries. There's different DLC dictionaries where you can add. There's a sci-fi pack. There's like a foul language pack, and I don't know how the fuck I got this. I probably got it on some bundle like 10 years ago that I forgot about, but I have some of the DLC bundles, so I've got all those turned on. And I'm good at typing, so I just have been having a blast playing this stupid ass zombie game where I kill them by typing out words. But if anyone wants to work on practicing their typing, this would be a good way to go. Or if anybody is already pretty good at typing, you'll probably have fun with Typing of the Dead. It is literally the old school Sega produced House of the Dead, except you type words instead of aim a gun. And that is the game. And it is as stupid and as simple as it sounds, but I had a whole lot of fun with it today. And I don't think I ever beat this one. So I beat 3 of the levels. I think I've got 2 or maybe 3 left. So I think I might as well just finish this one and add it to my list of rolled credits. I'm already right there, so I might as well. But yeah, the game's dope. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Pretty old too, I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that game is fucking ancient, dude.
Yeah, I think it's like mid 2000s old.
If early 2000s, yeah, no, it's if not late 90s. I mean, it's super because it came out on Dreamcast. Like Dreamcast even has a keyboard for that game. Like it's old as fuck, but it holds up. It's still super fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I was having a blast with it. It's a lot of fun.
Sick. All right, Johnny.
Yeah.
So for our next segment of the show now, we have an important thing to backtrack on here. You told all of us that one of your main gripes with Baldur's Gate 3 was that everyone's trying to fuck.
Everyone.
Just constantly. Like the scrumpy nature of your companions was out of control.
Bro, cleared out a goblin camp and you got to go back to camp. As soon as you go there, everybody's like, yo, let me see that dick. What's that dick look like? Let me see it.
The doggy style.
I mean, dude, everybody was trying to get down.
So your complaint is in the news.
I know, I saw this. It's crazy.
So reported by IGN, Baldur's Gate 3 developer says aggressively horny companions were a bug. Now that is a fine pairing of words if I've ever seen it. Aggressively horny companions.
It's what they were.
I digress. Here's from the drop. Developer Larian told us that Baldur's Gate 3 came out with a bug that meant the companions were too horny too soon into the player's relationship with them. Explosive Wizard Gale is perhaps the most aggressively horny of Baldur's Gate 3's companions. He's very much up for a fun night at camp pretty much as soon as you pull him out of his magic hole. Larian boss Swin Vinke told the gamer the companions' approval thresholds were set too low, which brought forward their interest in Scrumpy Times. That's why they were so horny in the beginning, explained Vinke.
Such a great sentence.
Apparently, Larian has fixed this bug for some, but not all the game's companions, which shows Larian's intention when it comes to the relationships in the game. Baldur's Gate 3 isn't supposed to be this horny, basically. It wouldn't be right in real life, Vinke said. There were a lot of people that enjoyed it, but it was too fast, Vinke said. It was supposed to simulate how real relationships are. Acting this way in real life would be, quote, problematic, end quote. Johnny, how do you digest this news for your return to Baldur's Gate 3 with your wife?
Well, I was going to say, my wife is going to be the one that's going to be the most excited about this because she has ceased interacting with Astarion and Gale, two of the main characters, because both of them tried to fucking bone. And she was like, ew. Oh, what the? Ugh. And now it'll be like, Astarion wants to talk to you. And she's like, I'm not talking to that creep. So she's literally, there are two main characters in the game that she is full blown avoiding because of how overly horny they were. So I'm glad that I can now explain to her that it was a bug. It's okay. They fixed it. You can talk to Astarion. I don't think he's going to try to bone you yet. Maybe further, another 20, 30 hours into the game, he'll try again. But, I mean, no, it really did feel like you just met this character. You don't know fucking anything about them. There hasn't really been any huge plot reveals. You don't know what makes them tick. You don't know what turns them on, what turns them off. You don't know shit about them. And it's just weird for them to be like, hey, how you doing? You want to, you're just like, dude, what the fuck? Comes out of nowhere, right? And, when I ranted about it before, I made the comparison to Mass Effect is like, if you want to get with one of those characters in a Mass Effect game, you kind of have to make a concerted effort. You sort of have to make sure that you're continually going back to that character and saying things that they would approve of and doing things that they appreciate. And you kind of have to make it a thing to get there. It's not like you just, hey, how you doing? And they're like, good. You want to go hop in the bed? And that's how Baldur's Gate 3 felt in our early playthrough there before they patched this bug. So I'm glad they fixed it. I didn't really have a lot of other gripes with the game. So this was really my biggest was just that they were too horny too early.
Yeah, they were just trying to get down on it.
They really were, for real,
non-stop. Yeah. Well, I'm glad for her sake that the rapey vibes have been ironed out a little bit.
Hopefully, yep.
So maybe you guys can get back to just having fun, and if the kids happen to walk downstairs, you don't have to freak out. That
we already turned sexual content off in the settings just in case.
Yeah, but I've seen some streams where the sexual content is turned off, i.e. the nudity.
Right.
Yeah.
It don't really matter.
It doesn't really matter now.
Yeah.
The elf chick still got down on her knees, put her one hand up in the position.
Oh, really? God damn.
This game is so fucking out of control.
So spicy. Holy shit.
It's like the guy's wearing underpants. I'm like, but he's got, why don't you just let the dick hang out at that point? I mean, what are you doing? Just let it go. It's fine. We're all adults here. I digress. Baldur's Gate 3 has had a cold bucket of water thrown on its head by the developer. So hopefully it'll chill the fuck out. So we'll see. Next up, Final Fantasy XVI is getting 2 DLC expansions, and more interestingly, for the purpose of our conversation, it is now confirmed that its PC port is officially in development. So as revealed by IGN, Square Enix has announced that Final Fantasy XVI is getting 2 paid DLC expansions and confirmed its PC port is officially in development. More details about both aspects will be revealed later this year. So the game is currently a PS5 timed exclusive. It's exclusive for 6 months. And now with the PC version officially announced, it's currently unknown whether it'll come to Xbox Series X and S in the future too. I'm sure it will come to Xbox because Square Enix is not allergic to money.
Yeah.
So I found this article very interesting and just kind of wanted to bring it up. 2023 just and on its own has been ridiculous. There is so much coming out this year, and I've been very selective about what I am and am not playing. Final Fantasy 16 is one of the games that I want to play, but has kind of been on the short end of the stick here, along with some other games. But Final Fantasy 16, I just haven't had time to sit down and play this game. It's going to be difficult to play it because we've got Starfield out in a couple of days. We've got Spider-Man next month. Baldur's Gate 3, of course, coming to the PlayStation the same day as Starfield. So we've got all these things. But Final Fantasy 16 is one that I'm like, this one's too important to not get to. Now I'm perfectly content playing on a PlayStation because that's my MO. But Johnny, does this affect your plan for when you play this game? Like, and I asked that maybe from a point of knowledge that maybe I need to share with you. So the PS5 version of Final Fantasy 16, although it's very good and very well received, does seem to have a lot of frame dipping issues in it. Even though that's the only system that it's out for, there's been a lot of reports of like a lot of dropped frames when you're just perusing through the world and stuff. And it annoys some people, but that of course may get patched out. Who knows? But you being a PC gamer, does this, say this game is going to come out, let's say it's a port. So maybe it comes out next year on the PC. Does this push that game back for you, or is it still something that is important enough that you're just going to play it now?
Final Fantasy 16 disc is in my PlayStation 5 right now. I installed it 2 days ago. It showed up from GameFly. It is in the console and installed. I have not fired it up yet, but no, I am fully planning on playing Final Fantasy 16 on the PS5. Now, that being said, when I open Steam and I look at my game library, I have basically all of the Final Fantasies that have kind of ever been released for the most part on PC. So, I don't own the Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC yet. But once I see it like on Steam sale for $20, I will buy it. And the same goes for this Final Fantasy 16. So even if I play Final Fantasy 16 beginning to end on the PlayStation 5, I will still eventually own it on PC because that's how you are with your physical collection and your shelves and shelves full of games. That is me and my Steam library and my folders of emulated games. I have a digital collection, of basically everything. So the fact that this is coming to PC means that I will, at some point, own it on PC, and if that means it's 5 years from now when I buy it for $10 on Steam, I don't give a fuck. I will buy it once it's cheap enough. I'll just go, I'll add it to the collection. Maybe I'll go back and play it one day. But now I can't wait to play this game. It's already installed on the PlayStation, and yeah, I need to start fucking beating some games here. Jesus.
Yeah, likewise. So yeah, no, I thought that was interesting. So for those that just feel overwhelmed with all the stuff, there's another game that's really been cannibalized by the amount of stuff this year, and I think some others are going to fall victim to it as well. Immortals of Avium has sold like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
And it looks great. It looks really good.
It does look good, yeah.
Just it's the worst possible time. It's the worst possible time. So we've got that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their release was like right after Baldur's Gate, right around From Software's big release, couple weeks before fucking Starfield. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with the release on this one.
Yeah, so I'm looking up right now Immortals of Avium on Steam to see how many people are playing the game basically right now on Steam.
Okay. 10,000 people.
85.
85 no zeros.
85 people are playing the game right now on Steam.
God.
This game, I've been paying attention to it because I do want to play it.
Oh, that's real bad.
I don't think this game has even sold 100,000 copies. Like, and it's a AAA, like, full thing. You know what I mean? But it is fucking bombing right now. So,
God, that's like worse than Forspoken bombing.
Oh, it's not even close. This game is absolutely fucking bombing right now.
Wow.
So,
wow. And that's what, Ubisoft?
Yeah, in the last 24 hours, okay? No, it's EA. Sorry, it's an EA Originals game.
EA. Okay.
All right. This isn't going to sound real, but Johnny, it's real, okay?
Okay.
In the past 24 hours on Steam, the peak player count for Immortals of Avium, 155. The all-time peak for Immortals of Avium on Steam, all-time peak, 751.
That is the worst I've ever heard, from a AAA title. That is 755 was the peak?
751.
751. So 751 people that were sitting there waiting with bated breath for the launch, waiting for that, oh my God, can I install it yet? Oh, sweet, I can install it. All right, cool, we get to play it today. Today's the day I'm going to play Immortals of Avium. 751 people.
So now, granted, that is just Steam.
That's just PC, yeah.
But that data tells you things that you can, digestible things. You know what I mean? So
yep.
It's like the biggest flop ever. And I think it's because, it was not marketed very well. The name is terrible.
Yep.
But it looks great. I want to play it, but I also know based on what I'm seeing that this game's going to be like either free on a subscription service or like $20.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just searched just because I was curious to see. So Sea of Stars, which again we've established is also on Switch, is also on Xbox Game Pass, is also on PlayStation Plus Extra, but you can also buy it on Steam. Has 5,604 players right now, and the all-time peak was 8,635. Now, again, that's just PC.
Mm-hmm.
That's not all the people on Xbox Game Pass or PC Game Pass, and all the people on PlayStation, and all the
I
people
mean,
on
think
Switch.
about
That's
it like this: a game that everyone knew was fucking trash. That's primary boon was that it was quote unquote free on Game Pass. Okay. Still 6,124 people that paid money for Redfall played it on Steam at the same time.
God. It crashed and burned worse than Redfall.
8 times worse. So yeah, and I think it's just timing. Because like everyone I've talked to about that game says, "Oh yeah, that looks cool. Like I want to play that."
It looks cool.
But Baldur's Gate's out. But Starfield's coming out.
I watched Rod play it. It looks dope.
It looks really
like
good.
a lot of fun.
I can't wait for it to be $20, and then I will scoop it up.
Same. That sounds like a bargain bin to me.
Sounds like a December game.
Gamefly in a month. I'll be able to scoop that game for $25.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? The best-selling game on PlayStation last month, Remnant 2.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Best selling on the PlayStation 5 all month was Remnant 2.
And if over on Steam, there's currently 110,000 people, or the highest concurrent was 110. There's currently 12,000 people playing it right now. So Remnant 2 doing very well, despite everything else that's going on.
Good for them.
But yeah, I mean, really the main point is Starfield. Starfield is, what is it? 3 days away? 4 days? 3 days?
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot of you fucking scallywags out there are playing it already in early access because you bit the bullet on the premium edition or whatever. Me and Johnny did not.
Yep.
And we'll be playing it with the rest of you, you sane people that just want to play the regular version and didn't need a weak head start to where you couldn't talk about the game with anyone.
I know, right?
Seriously. So like,
you're doing.
I didn't want to get it and then come on the show and be like, hey, here's this thing I can't talk about because not nobody, but not everyone who's getting it has it yet, kind of thing. I mean, fuck, in its early access, online right now, 182,000 on Steam. This is a Game Pass game. You know what I mean? 250,000 peak. So Starfield's already crushing, and it's not even out yet for real.
Yep. That's just that many people playing the premium edition.
And on PC who paid for it. So I am still super excited about this game, but there was some stuff, I wanted to talk about here. So maybe we're like the rest of y'all. We're waiting for it to come. We're seeing all these news articles come out. We're seeing all these streamers. We're seeing all these reviews. And so I kind of just wanted to take a moment, Johnny, and check your pulse here. So we're moments away from the actual release of this game. I know you're not completely blind to everything going on. How are you feeling?
I mean, I am excited about this game. I think as a gamer, you sort of have to be. I mean, Bethesda hasn't done a new IP in what, 20 fucking years? As far as like a grand scale AAA title, I mean, they've basically been doing Fallouts and Elder Scrolls for ever and ever, amen. So for them to have a new IP is a major thing, Actually, a little true story, just to kind of divert us momentarily. My sister-in-law works for NPR, and she texted me 4 or 5 days ago and said, hey, I'm going to Bethesda to meet Todd Howard and interview Todd Howard, and I don't know much about video games. What should I talk to him about with this game? What is it that makes Starfield special? And I told her exactly that. That, you know, in the current climate right now, it's all remakes and reboots and sequels. So for a big company to bet it all on here's a thing we've been working on for 10 fucking years, boom, here's Starfield. It's a big thing. It's a big major thing, right? I mean, it could have fallen flat on its face like Immortals of Avium, but thankfully Bethesda has a little bit more brand recognition than that. But no, I'm really pumped on this game. I am a little disappointed to hear that you can't really fly around on your planets and you don't manually land on your planets. And you also don't really manually take off from your planets. You kind of more or less pull up your map, pull up your star map and go, I want to go to that planet. And then it cutscene, here's your ship landing on that planet. Is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. It is a little disappointing. I would much rather the No Man's Sky or why am I drawing a blank on the other flying game that I really enjoyed?
Well, I was going to say Star Citizen
No.
does that, but
Star Citizen, obviously, but no, there was another one.
Elite Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous, thank you. Yeah. Where, you know, like the full immersion of like I'm in my cockpit, I'm gonna dock with that base, so let me call in and request a spot, and okay, they've given me parking space 6. Let me float into the base and find my spot and go land my vehicle. And like that's a part of the fun in a lot of those games, but clearly Bethesda's going somewhere else. So the main thing that confuses me with this is that have you found the reviews are like fucking all over the place on this game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like just go on YouTube and search Starfield review, and video number 1 will be like, this is Bethesda's greatest game they've ever made. No question. It's a wrap. This is the best Bethesda game ever made. And then the next video is like, huge disappointment. This game's a pile of shit. I am not going to let the haters fucking take anything away from me on this one. I'm not even going to let IGN's 7 out of 10 score take my excitement away. This is a Bethesda space game where I can play it for hundreds of hours and meet all these new characters and all these new planets and all these new races and find these super cool weapons and cool armor. And like, this is what they do and they're good at it. And I think that this game is probably still going to stand the test of time. I would like to say that last week I did mention that I thought this game was going to score around the 8s. It does appear that I kind of looked like I kind of nailed that one, but we'll see. But no, I mean, this is a big deal. Bethesda hasn't done a new IP like this in a very long time. We don't see big IPs like this where somebody bets it all. And I mean, dude, they've been developing this game for a very, very, very long time. So no, I'm pumped. It's already preloaded. The moment I can fucking play it, I'm in. Can't wait. Cannot wait.
So I also have thoughts about the reviews and all this and that and whatever. I am well versed in the space games. It's one of my oldest and most favorite genre of game. Like many of people my age, I first got addicted with X-Wing and TIE Fighter back in the era of DOS.
Star Commander.
And I've been hooked ever since. My favorite game series was Mass Effect, which was the first time I felt like I was getting everything I wanted, which was a spaceship and a crew that I could fly around the galaxy in. And this is the next evolution of that. You know, I've got sniffs of it with Star Citizen. I get sniffs of it with No Man's Sky. But everything that we have beyond Mass Effect has always just felt kind of fucking pointless. You know, No Man's Sky hey, I took off from this planet and went into the atmosphere. You know, you see that snippet all the fucking time. And it's like, I
Yep.
came down into the planet and look at that weird mole running around. Better take a picture of that. Fuck that. I want what this game is. I don't have a problem with No Man's Sky. It's not for me. You
Same.
know, I don't have a problem with Star Citizen. It's just not fucking done yet.
Yep.
This is it. I don't give a fuck what any of these reviewers write. I really, truly don't. I haven't even touched this game yet, and I already know that this is going to be one of my favorite video games that I've ever played in my entire life. And I don't give a shit what anybody has to say about it. I already know that. I already know it. The game from Bethesda that got me hooked was Oblivion, which I played on my Xbox 360 back forever fucking ago. And it was the first game I ever 100%ed. I love Bethesda's style. I love how they tackle role-playing games. And I love Mass Effect. And I love space. And I love sci-fi. And Star Trek fucking shits on everything in Star Wars except for the Millennium Falcon, which is the only thing that has like the space explorer thing going for it. You know what I mean? I love that. I love the whole thing where it's trying to be grounded with some semblance of realism, but then having the freedom to do the extraordinary. And that's all I see from this game. That's all I see from it. I know I'm going to love it. It answers what I've been wanting my entire life. So I don't give a fuck what any of these reviewers write or say. Everything that I've read negative about the game just sounds very nitpicky to me. It sounds like Starfield is being rated on a slanted scale. And I don't know what's up with that, frankly.
I don't either.
You know, in a world where a game like Armored Core, that's a very basic game with like no story at all, except through texts in menus. And that game can review significantly higher than something of this grand scale. It's like, you know, a year ago when we were having conversations about, you know, what do I think constitutes tens? You know, what do I think? And that you have to look at the greater picture. And it's like the greater picture of this game is like its scale cannot be ignored. The scope of what it's trying to do has to be accounted for. And so I don't get it.
Absolutely.
And I'm very curious to sit down with it and play it. I'm very excited to sit down with it and play it. Much like I was Cyberpunk 2077 for a lot of the same reasons.
I mean, dude, IGN 7 is wild.
I mean,
to me.
GameSpot was even harder on it. It's so weird. Some of these reviews that are out for the game. So, like it just, I'll just say what I'm thinking. It feels like I'm fucking reading Kotaku everywhere I go when it comes to this game, and it seems to piss off people because it gives you like the non-binary and pronoun choices. So like all the fucking meatheads are mad. Everyone's mad. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to sit here and play this game like so many hundreds of thousands of other people are. I'm going to love it. I'm sure. And I'll be fair, but I already know just from my experience playing so many games. It's like we've been saying for months. It's like now that I can sit down and watch people streaming it, interact with them, I already know this game is great. I already know. And so, if you have problems with things like, you know, the narrative direction of the game. Maybe you feel like the game is forcing its politics on you, like I've been reading on fucking Twitter all day today. That's on you, dude. That's on you, I guess. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. You know, if you're wildly offended by they them or she her or whatever, you know, I don't know what to tell you. Like it's one of those things where it's like I know where you're coming from in some instances. You know, it'd be like if I said, "Hey, my name's Mike, he him," and I'm very obviously a biological male. I can get where you might like look at me if you're one of those people, be like, "Why the fuck are you telling me that?" But like the other side of that coin is, who did that hurt? And why are you going
No
to let
one.
that affect your ability to enjoy this thing that I've been waiting for my entire life? Is it really
Yep.
that bothersome? To some people it is. There's like dudes like full on screaming at their cameras about this shit on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking
Yep.
insane.
It is.
It's like I
Absolutely
get it, people. You're trying to like live and die by your convictions, but you're fucking crazy.
Well,
Just
they also understand that it's the easiest grift in the world. If you just go online and spout whatever crazy shit the far right is doing, you will find an audience and you will build. I could change my brand identity tomorrow and upload a YouTube video about how anti I am the wokeness of Starfield.
oh, Christ.
And
Yeah, you'd be famous in 5
and
seconds.
I would be famous instantly. There'd be viral TikToks and all. I mean, that's the thing that really nobody wants to look in the eye. But that's what it is that it's the easiest fucking grift in the world. And like one of my favorite streamers, hardcore leftist, Hassan Piker, he said many times that anytime he's accused of being a grifter, he's like, dude, if I wanted to be a grifter, I could make one fucking video spouting what the right says, and I'd be on fucking Fox News tomorrow. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And that's the thing that sucks, is that it is just the way the algorithm works. If you just go on and go, they, them, Starfield, what the fuck?
Who
They get blown up.
cares?
I sure fucking don't. Could not care less.
It's an option in a menu. It's there for someone who needs it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
yes, I get it, but calm the fuck down. It doesn't matter. It's nothing to get upset about. Just,
Yep.
you know, it's like getting upset that there's handicapped parking spaces.
Well, it's also like getting upset that Bud Light sent one can to a trans influencer, one single can with her face on the can, and she made one Instagram advertisement on her channel on Instagram, and the entire fucking world lost their shit and is like, oh my God, why are they shoving this down our throats? They're not. They gave one can to a trans influencer who made an Instagram video. You know who shoved it down your throat? Your fucking right-wing media that you get. Your Fox News, your fucking Ben Shapiro, all of them cried and cried and cried and cried to the fucking heavens for weeks over how dare Bud Light do this, when they sent one can to one person for one Instagram video. What the fuck are we doing? And now you've got country stars on stage throwing Bud Light cans into the crowd, and you got Kid Rock unloading a magazine into boxes of Bud Light. One
So
can.
I want to say something funny.
One fucking can.
There's a picture of Kid Rock, like from a couple weeks ago. He's like at a ball game or a concert or something. I fucking forget which. Kid Rock. Who cares? No, he's drinking.
Bud
He's
Light.
got a ice cold Bud Light. It's like they're just so
But
full
that's
of shit. But no, I mean, back to what I was saying. I mean, good rant. But the handicap parking space, right?
yeah.
Doesn't it annoy you sometimes that they're seemingly always fucking empty and they're right there and all the other parking spaces are full? But what do? You drive past it and find a place to park your fucking car and you get on with your day. It's there
Yep.
for someone who needs it. Okay?
That's a very good analogy.
It's
Yep.
the same thing with what we're going through and accepting all these people. You know, this isn't someone on crutches that needs to be close to the door of the fucking grocery store. This is someone with something else going on. And you know what?
Yep.
It's a handicap parking space. Is it annoying to you? Maybe. Does it serve a purpose for someone who needs it? It does. So just drive past it and get on with your fucking lives already.
Amen.
Johnny. Fire. It's time for our final segment, sir. Segment is one up. Hit me. What do you got this week?
Okay, so this is a movie that I saw the trailer for forever ago. I completely forgot about. And last night, I was trying to find something to watch with the missus. And I was like, oh, wait, I totally forgot about this. So George Miller did Mad Max Fury Road, one of the greatest films of all time. Fight me on it if you'd like, but Mad Max Fury Road is a fucking
100%.
masterpiece. And then he gets all the awards and the nominations and all that good shit. And what does he do? He says, I'm going to take all this money and I'm going to make a genie movie where Idris Elba is the genie and Tilda Swinton is the woman who finds this magic genie lamp that has Idris Elba's genie inside of it. This movie is fucking bonkers. I mean bonkers. It is full blown from beginning to end, a fairy tale about a genie and all of his different lives that he's lived throughout this eternity and the different people that he's tried to help and the mistakes that they'd made and what he learned from that and how he got screwed over here and how he got screwed over there and when is he ever going to be set free. And it is so fucking good. It is one of the best movies I've seen in a very long time. Again, it is called 3,000 Years of Longing, and it is starring Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, two of my favorite actors. So, yeah, it was great. And George Miller basically did Mad Max Fury Road and then went, I'm going to make a genie movie, which is a wild choice, but the movie's fucking awesome. So check it out.
Awesome.
It's streaming on Prime, I believe, if you don't want to pay for it.
So I talked at the beginning of the show about all this different music stuff that I've got going on, but I did have something like kind of uniquely cool occur this past week. So actually, Johnny, cue the Jeopardy music real quick.
Boom, 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 boom,
Okay.
boom, boom,
So,
boom, 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 boom. What you
got? One of my friends I sold this bass guitar to. His name's Darren. And I asked him, I was like, dude, do you still have this old Fender that I sold you? He goes, yeah, I don't ever play it, but yeah, it's like I've got it. I said, would you ever consider selling it back to me? He goes, yeah, sure. You know, I think I bought it from you 20 years ago for $400. I said, yeah, that sounds about right. He said, so just give me $400. You can have it back. So, yeah, YouTube guys, here it is.
Oh man, I remember those.
So this is a Fender Aerodyne jazz bass, but it's not just any. I pre-ordered it from Musician's Friend when it was announced. So this is the very first one, and it's one of the first ones. And what's kind of unique with it, I mean, it's just an awesome instrument to play. But if you look here,
Yep, I remember those.
so all of them after like this very first run, they put like this Strat style sunk-in plug that fucking sucks that you can't use a right angle connector on. So this is like one of the only ones that doesn't have that. And yeah, I mean, they're insanely rare to find like this. So I'm very happy to have it back. I'm never selling it, obviously. It's just in the
Hell yeah.
collection. So now I have back in my possession the first 4 bass guitars that I ever owned.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
been really cool kind of refinding all these instruments I lost over the years. But yeah, that's it. I just thought that was cool. He even had the gig bag for it, like the original gig bag that I sold it to him in. And so I reached, he never opened up any of the pockets. I reached in the pockets, all my stuff's still in there. So I've got a set list from 2003 from my high school band Magnesium Ribbon and a burnt CD of the show in the gig bag.
Wow.
I have my old Admiral Cleaner's name tag, which I worked there when I was like 16, 17, in the gig bag. There was a Metallica iron-on patch that I bought that I never put on my jacket. I got it when I was in high school, still in the bag. I gave that to Lorelei. I was like, so this is kind of cool. I told her the story. I'm like, here you go. It's yours. So yeah, it was super cool. Just like my own personal little time capsule. Pretty excited. So, but yeah, that's it for this week. Yeah, we've talked long enough. Let's get out of here, Johnny. Thanks for tuning in. We will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast for you to enjoy. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paul.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch your own flip-flop.
Yeah.